building up a platform where hope can
Welcome to the Nikki Clarke Show. I am your host, Dr. Nikki Clarke, and the show is where we celebrate inspiring stories, visionary leaders, and conversations that transform lives one story at a time. And today I am delighted to welcome Andreas MatchCreator, visionary founder of Circology, dating and relationship coach, mentor, innovator, and creator of a groundbreaking relationship compatibility framework that is changing the way people build meaningful connections. And as the creator of the Circus question and the Circology framework, Andreas is empowering individuals, coaches, matchmakers, and professionals with practical tools to better understand compatibility, strengthen relationships, and create deeper connections. Welcome to the show, Andreas.
Thank you, Nikki, for having me. And what a wonderful introduction. Thank you. Very happy to be on your show and hopefully enlighten lots of your audience, including yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, what you do is brilliant. So let's get right into it. Tell us about your journey and what inspired you to become a relationship coach.
Okay, well, in my own journey, I became single in my late 40s, about 16 years ago. And I found myself on the dating pile, if you know what I mean. And I found online dating was confusing. It was stressful, lots of choice, and I didn't know how to navigate it really well because it was different to real life introduction where you went up to someone and said, "Hi, I'm Andreas. Lovely to meet you. Can I buy you a drink?" or whatever the, cheesy line was.
Mm-hmm.
The reality was you had to create a profile, talk to someone, hopefully they liked you and came back, but you really didn't get any depth because most of the time they dismissed you. They had an inbox full of messages. What made you different? So I decided to create something that made me different, but also gave me information about that other person. And that's how the Circus question was born.
Excellent, excellent. So your career began first in architecture before transitioning into coaching. And how did, that journey unfold? Because it's just one side of the spectrum to the next.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's positives and there's negatives. I had to close my practice during the construction recession in the UK. It was a brand new office and I just didn't have the funds to keep it going. So I found myself changing direction. So a new chapter in my life. I started doing other things, DJing, photography, all these different things, including, as I said to you earlier, moving from being in a relationship to being single and discovering that I could actually coach off the back of it because I started helping people on dating sites because I couldn't date everybody. So I started rejecting people that I wasn't compatible with and then giving them the space to go forward and find their compatible other. But they were coming back to me and going, thank you, Andress, for kind of being very reasonable and not ghosting me and leaving me in the, complete doldrums of, today we call it ghosting, but leaving me high and dry. It was really nice of you to summarize why we're not compatible. Can you help me? And I was like, well, I'm not really a coach. And I did it for free. So I kind of went, yeah, I help. And it worked. And it worked too many times for me not to go, hang on a minute, there's something here. And all of my disciplines, photography, architecture, DJing, radio DJing, project management, all of those disciplines were all about people and understanding people. And that's what led me to this coaching, really, because it was successful.
Awesome. Awesome. So you alluded to, you created the Circus question, which is really quite amazing. So what is it and why has it resonated with so many people?
Well, the Circus question and the way to introduce it to you and your audience is actually to ask the Circus question. That's what it is. It's one question. It's very simple, very straightforward. And I'll explain a little bit about it after I've asked you the question. So, Nikki, your audience, if you're listening out there, just focus on my voice If you want to close your eyes to get into the experience a bit more and not get any distractions, I advise you to close your eyes, listen to my voice, and imagine. Nikki, imagine you're at a circus. Imagine the lights, the sounds, the smells, the fun, the laughter, the thrills, and suspense. Now imagine for a moment if you were one of the acts or performers. Which act or performer would you be and why? So in your own time.
Okay, I'm going to answer that. I would be the trapeze artist
Trapeze.
because I could use my artistry and also when I'm balancing from one side of the ring to the next through the trapeze kind of orchestra, I would be relying on people to help me support myself from one side to the next.
Okay. So your visualization was that you're a trapeze artist swinging, and you said supporting you. So you're letting go and getting caught.
Yes.
So you're actually your act is the flying trapeze, and technically you're the jumper. You're traditionally the female that lets go and gets caught by the man. So talking traditionally, and this isn't just traditional, it can be, you know, the man could be jumping and the woman could be catching. So it doesn't matter about gender. Okay. Mm-hmm. What we're looking at is the dynamic here. What's important is the dynamic, and you chose to let go, be independent, do your thing, look amazing, and swing in. And sometimes, because it takes a while to build up that momentum, let go, get caught, rely on a partner to catch you. So trust is important to you in a relationship. And then hold you strongly, obviously not let you drop, and bring you back and know when to let go for you to come back to where you were at the beginning. So the metaphor works. Why does it work? It allows us to recognize unconsciously our ideal dynamic of our own, but with another person. So this is actually important because it tells us unconsciously. Did you know why you chose that? Well, you said about the artistry and what have you, but can you relate to that? Have you ever done it? Have you ever done something like the trapeze? Are you scared of heights? So, okay. So you haven't done it. Are you scared of heights?
No.
Okay. Well, would it be something you would do or attempt to do?
Yeah, I would.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good because a lot of people say, well, I would never choose that because I'm too scared of heights, or I don't know. I'm, you know, whatever you chose. Sometimes people go, well, no, I wouldn't do it. Well, that's good for you because it not just associates you with that role, but it brings it in closer in respect of who you are. And where it's important in terms of relationship, we have a situation where you are working with someone else very closely. Timing is very important. So in a relationship, that's equilibrium, equality, we call it, is important. So your partner is in timing with you, understands you, you understand them. Sometimes you direct, sometimes they direct. You're comfortable in switching roles, maybe cooking or maybe cleaning, maybe doing the things but you like that and you're looking for a partner that enjoys that too. In an ideal relationship, if you were in an unhealthy relationship, your partner would be on the spectrum, because I believe all of us are on a spectrum, and there are 3 areas in that spectrum. There's the leaders, there's the supporters, and the sharers are in the middle. And on that spectrum, which rises to the leaders direct the relationship. The supporters support the relationship and do anything the leaders want them to do that makes them happy as well. They're content helping support their partner. In your case, a very modern relationship, because we've evolved, Modern relationships are more about sharing and equality and equilibrium. It doesn't mean that the traditional style relationship where the leader might be male, doesn't necessarily need to be male, might be male, and the woman might be the female who actually supports the family, she nurtures the home, she brings up the kids. It's very traditional. That might work for them. But your dynamic, I believe, from what you've told me, would be very equal. Am I right? Or am I completely off the mark?
Yes and no.
Okay.
And it's like I expect support, but I think for myself, I can lead in business, but in my personal relationship, I like to be led.
Well, you've defined what I just said. Your partner is your strength when you need them. So that's very important. But in business, you're not this person in relationship. In
No.
business, in the love, and let's call it the romantic dynamic, you want a partner that's slightly stronger than you. When I say slightly, an equal but stronger. Because he
Yes.
catches you. He supports you when you need it. Okay? That's important. You just define that. But in business, of course, by the way, in your relationship, your partner allows you to be autonomous.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a job, you've got a job. He's got a career, you've got a career. He doesn't stifle your career. If you were imbalanced and he was a lion tamer, it's likely that his energy would be to control you. He would be insecure with your independence. He would want to stifle that independence. And if you were with a lion tamer in your relationship, it's possible that it would be unhealthy. Possibly, we call it abusive, but anything that's unhealthy is toxic. It can be abusive, it can be physically abusive, it can be mentally abusive. So what we're trying to do here is identify ideal dynamics, right? And an ideal fit. That's
Excellent.
what we're trying to find, a fit. It's a conversation starter. And it's not predictive. It's not, listen, this is not, nothing's perfect. And I'll explain some other point. You know, we haven't got much time, but I'll explain the dynamics in respect of the zones, because there are zones. He's not, you know, your ideal partner isn't just the person that catches you. It could be one level above that. It could be tightrope walker. It could be ringmaster. They all fit on a spectrum and they can work with you as a dynamic. Okay, over to you.
Thank you for that amazing description. But what do you think are the key ingredients for building a healthy, lasting relationship?
Communication is key. That's why we have the circus question. In a way, it's a conversation starter, purely because if you're opening the conversation, it's something interesting to talk about. But I think people have got lazy these days. And I think the problem is communication has become fast-tracked. It's kind of like 2 questions and then let's meet for a coffee, because coffee seems to be the next stage that we can discuss things. But you know what I'm finding with my clients is, especially women, of course women, is they feel that the man isn't really invested in them. Taking me for coffee, who does he think I am? Am I not worth a dinner date? Well, the guys are thinking, well, if I go on 10 dates and it's $100 a day, that's $1,000. So it's not cheap. But they're not understanding the female psychology of, I need investment. I need investment. If this guy's serious about me, I need to dress up nice and be taken for a proper date. So that's kind of one of the biggest problems, because it's initial. Everything is at the beginning. So people are getting lazy and they're thinking, well, she didn't reply to me in the inbox, I'll give up. She's got an inbox full of highs. How are you, sexy? And she's thinking there's no depth. So communication is key. Think about an angle that you can create will open the door for an honest communication, to build some trust. Because a woman dates safety, a man dates expectation. So it's kind of a different mindset.
Yeah, great points. And how do you think people can be more intentional when choosing a partner?
Well, intention for me is all, again, a communication, but having a strategy, having the ability to actually recognize a partner, but also commit like I said just now, commit to a decent date. Don't just go on 10 random coffee dates and hope one fits, because be selective. Use a process that helps you select from the 10, instead of 10 coffee dates, which cost you X amount of pounds or dollars, right? Go on one meaningful date because you filtered the 10 to 1 or 2 and mean it. And I'm talking about guys here, but I'm also thinking from a woman's perspective, because a lot of women I coach are independent enough to decide, I want to go on 3 dates this month or 4 dates, 1 a week. And I'm going to choose the guys out of my inbox that I want to talk to. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you know what? It is better if you get your communication, your strategy right, because it really does filter things properly. So don't be so lazy, get more communicative. And obviously, you know, I'm going to be biased. Circology and the Circus question helps you filter things very quickly.
Absolutely. And, you know, the thing that you brought up about self-awareness, before we build healthy relationships with others, describe how important self-awareness is.
It's everything. When I was dating, when I first started dating, and I will use the word was single rather than dating, that my priority was to know more about myself, because I dated fit and on instinct and luck. I kind of thought, she's hot, I'm going to talk her into a relationship, I'm going to make her mine, I'm going to seduce her, and whatever you want to use. I am going to get this girl and make her mine, and she's going to be exactly what I want. Without considering her needs. Forget my needs, her needs. And what I did was I basically found myself single at around 47 years old, no kids, no partner. Obviously no partner, but no kids. And I thought, you know, the next relationship needs to be quite serious, because I wanted kids. And quite serious in the sense of longitude, not short, sharp, you know, not just a rebound relationship or anything like this, or just go and have fun. So I didn't want to just go and have fun, because I always got myself into trouble. You know, I found myself in another relationship. So I thought, let's work on self. And I did the work for a year. I thought, I'm going to work on myself for a year. I started with a month, then 2 months, then 5 months, then 6 months. And before I knew it, it was a year. And I was like, hey, this has gone a bit quick. Am I ready to date? And the answer was no. And I found it became 2 years. And at the point of 2 years, and that doesn't mean, by the way, that doesn't mean I was completely celibate, but it means I wasn't ready to date. Okay. But I was celibate for 1 year completely, because I decided I wasn't going to, you know, commit to anything. And what I discovered was I elevated myself to a position where my values had changed. I was looking for something more emotional, something more aligned. So when I went on the dating sites, and I could see it was it was superficial. People were dating, you know, a shopping list. I want him this tall, this wide, this rich, this whatever. It was a shopping list. I was like, you know what? I don't have a shopping list. I don't have a preference, but I definitely have a certain type of person that I want to date. And when I created the Circus question, it was about finding a meaningful connection to find what I needed for myself, but then valuing what they needed in return. So it was to complement a relationship, not just find my yin to my yang. You know, I wasn't looking for my opposite to attract, because sometimes likes attract. Your like attracts. Your like attracts. You're not ideally placed with an opposite. Except a male, of course.
How do past experiences and emotional wounds affect our relationships?
Well, we do carry a lot of wounds, a lot of trauma, a lot of baggage. We do need to let that go, because the next relationship isn't your past. So if you need help, and I say this to a lot of my clients, if they come to me, one of the first things we discuss in our discovery call is, have you got anything that's really traumatized you, like that you need to deal with? And to be honest, I am not a therapist. I'm not an expert in that field. I will either suggest they go and find somebody. I've got a few people that I work with to go and get help for that. But if they're starting from a position of moving forward, we draw a line under the past. You've forgiven your partner, you've forgiven yourself, and you're moving forward. Now, if there's something, we've all got some kind of, come on, we're not perfect, I'm not perfect. That's one of the first things we have to come to terms with. My past relationships, I was 50-50. I was the common denominator in those relationships. When they failed, and I don't like to use that word failed, but people understand that. When I learned that lesson was next. And then that lesson was next, and that lesson was next. So who was the common denominator? It was me. So were they bad people? No. Was the dynamic wrong? Probably. And so there are some points where you think, oh, I have regrets because if only I'd done this or I'd done that. But the reality is where I am now and where I take my clients is draw a line under everything that might be negative and look at all the positives. You are here now because of all your positive experiences. Hopefully, they're more than the negatives. And we can build on that, create the better you, a better strategy, and move you forward without the trauma and the negatives. So we start filling your glass. So you don't start, I get comments from clients and they say, oh, no one's going to want me. Look at me. I'm too short, or I'm bald, or I'm, women will say I've put on weight and, I'm not 25 anymore. I'm 45. Who would want me? The answer is the person that's looking for you. The person that's looking for you. So don't bring all the negatives and the trauma into it. Of course, if you've got other things, we help you with that as well.
Excellent. Andreas, how can people build confidence while navigating today's dating landscape?
Well, we can all help ourselves by, well, again, it's finding tools. The dating landscape is very much, it is as easy as it is difficult. If you're on the wrong dating site, first of all, if you go straight onto, and I'll mention there's other dating sites, but let's call Tinder. If you're looking for a meaningful relationship and you're 50, the chances are Tinder's not right for you because Tinder's probably got a younger demographic. So choosing Tinder as your main operating platform for finding your date is going to give you basically not the return that you probably would have got on eHarmony or Match or Hinge or one of those from the same group. But you've got to be selective, and understanding what you're investing in and where is important. It's a bit like in real life. If you go to a bar that's playing country music, but you like soul music and you're hoping to find a soul lover in a country bar, you're not going to find them.
Right.
So why are you going there?
No.
It's very obvious when you say that, but people just think dating site. Well, actually, that's the first thing you need to think about. And obviously in my program, I have strategy based on exactly who I'm talking to and where I think they fit. And there's thousands of dating sites. And of course, if you're a geek, there's sites for that. If you're retired, there's sites for that. And everything really. If you're a single mother, there's sites for that. And that's how we have to work. We have to think about the dynamic we're looking for in the right place at the right time.
Now, what about some people who just don't want to do the dating sites? What kind of advice can you offer them?
Well, the same advice, because you've still got live events. There's lots of events. There's lots of meetup groups. If you've got, if you like, if you're into Pilates, for argument's sake, it doesn't mean you're going to find your other partner in Pilates, but there are groups online that actually have local groups where you can see the members. You can see there's a mix of men and women, and it's more a group. If you're doing Pilates at home on a video, you're never going to meet anyone. But if you're going to a course where there's other people, you might bump into someone. You might have an interest in pottery, you might have an interest in reading or writing or a book club, or these are all like small things, but there are lots of meetups where people are going for cocktails, they're going for interests in movies, they're going and even speed dating. There's a lot more speed dating events now, and they're not as cheesy as they used to be. They used to be a bit tacky. There was much more women or men at them. The men were much older. Women would come away and say, oh, they're all old guys, retired, and it felt really creepy. Now they're being curated. I'm involved in one in particular that's online, and we're curating the members as they come to the online process and helping them identify people in groups. So that's something we're doing. We're actively doing ourselves, and a lot of people are doing this sort of thing. They're recognizing that you've got to provide more for their members and their clients. So it is out there. Just look for it. And if you need any help, come and ask me, and I might be able to help you.
Absolutely. So you're developing professional versions of Circology for coaches, matchmakers, and recruitment professionals. So tell us more about that vision.
Well, yeah, exactly. Early days of when I started the Circus question, I had a few clients that were actually therapists, counselors, coaches, and they were clients for dating. And one of them, out of the blue, turned around and said, I really love this. Do you think I could use this question when I'm helping couples? And I thought about it, and I said, well, yeah, I suppose if you ask them both at the same time, and they both identify their ideal roles, and you identify something that's incompatible or there is conflict in the balance, then you have a metaphor that you can show them and say, this is why this isn't working. This is why there's fracture in this relationship. This is why it's unhealthy, because he needs more support, or you need to be quiet when he needs time on his own. Let him reset, because I'll give you an example. The clown persona wears a mask. They're very lively. But when they want to recharge their batteries, they take the mask off, what they show to the world, and they go and they're silent in a room. And the partner that doesn't know them will go up to him and say, honey, are you fine? And he's like, no, please just leave me alone. I need time on my own. And they see it as like, oh, honey, I need to spend, I'm asking what's wrong with you and can I help you? And that persona just needs time on their own. Leave me alone. And once they're ready, they come back to you. Now, understanding that dynamic right from the beginning can help you cope with any conflict. We all have conflict, and it's very important to share that. So I had coaches that were saying, can we share it? So I developed the Circology framework so that they specifically could utilize it, and it was framed facing the coach for their clients, whether it's one client or two clients. The same with matchmakers. I consult for matchmakers, so I create assessments forward facing for their clients. So, for example, like you've just answered now, if you were my paying client, I would ask you the question, you would fire back, and then I would send you a quite deep assessment without knowing you very well to show you how quickly I can assess you from one question, and then show you that we are using that not just to profile the next person that we're bringing to your date, but with your shopping list, of course, I want this and I want this and I want this, but we are matching you on a practically fast and accurate level. So we're not just randomly feeling our gut and going, okay, we'll throw you in the deep end. Because personality tests, they work to identify who you are, but they don't identify the dynamic. They don't tell you how you work with another person. And that's where Circology comes in. And the last one is the professional tool for HR, or what I call recruitment, because we're developing it for team building. So rather than love and one partner is another partner, and there's a dynamic of two, in teams there's a dynamic of three. So you have leaders, collaborators, and support. In any good business, you have a head, CEO, then you have the creative team, and then you have the support team. And it's a great way, a great tool to identify roles and help build really, really strong compatibility very quickly. But it still needs to be a tool that sits alongside the big five, you know, the Discovery Insights, any of the other profiling tools that are far more, they're expensive, but you utilize those tools at the latter stage of the interview. So the Circus question, you can use it very quickly and then filter the hundreds or thousands to 10 that you want to bring along, and then do the real depth of personality testing. And that's cheaper for a company. It really, it makes it cheaper for them. Anyway, that's where we are. So we're beta testing this, and I'm working alongside other professionals in the last year, we've been beta testing it and we've developed it. And I've now integrated AI with all these tools. So you've got an integration of Ask Andreas. So instead of coming to me with support, they've got my AI clone on the app. So it's a done for you app. So all the assessments are done for them. And if they've got a question, as well as the certification where I show them the how to work Circology, so they've got some kind of proficiency in it and a certification and a license, they also have the Ask Andreas, where they can go there and say, right, we've got a client who's a clown. How do they match with, flying trapeze flyer? Because she's like this and he's like that. And we think there might be, and I have trained the integration to actually give you the feedback that you need, because you can't always get hold of me at 3 a.m. if you're in LA. I'm asleep. So if you need that question answered, you can get it through the app.
Brilliant, brilliant. All right. Well, we're coming to the close of our amazing conversation, and I'd like to ask you some rapid fire questions. So answer with one word or just a few words.
Okay.
One word describes your leadership style.
My leadership style? Well, I'm a ringmaster.
Okay.
That's my choice. And it's very diplomatic. It's very multifaceted, different skills to get the right reaction from somebody. That's how I lead. Okay.
Remember, one word or just a few words.
Oh, yes.
What's one book everyone should read?
Oh, wow. I've got too many. Oh my God. Well, I would say Dating. Oh my God, Dating in Captivity by Esther Perel.
One habit that has transformed your life.
Compatibility. I mean, is it a habit? It's just, maybe it's not a habit.
What does success mean to you?
Success means fulfillment, gratitude.
I like that. If you could leave, and we're out of rapid fire. If you could leave our viewers with one message about love, relationships, and living authentically, what would that be?
Well, today's world, and I need to collaborate a little bit here. Today's world is about fear. People are scared to commit because it feels safer not to. The reality, right? Short-term safety is long-term loneliness. Okay? It is long-term loneliness. If we don't want to be lonely in this world, we need to commit. But that doesn't just mean commit to somebody randomly. That means to commit to self-discovery, commit to strategy, commit to understanding what you need, not what you want. It's not a shopping list. It's what your core values and beliefs are. Whether you're a Christian, whether you believe in whichever religion you believe in, it doesn't matter. If that's important to you, follow your needs. If you want to have kids, don't date someone that's not sure. Just be ruthless. Cut and run. Don't waste your time. Commitment is about following your needs.
I love that. Thank you so much. And Andreas, where can people meet you on social media? How can they follow you? How can they answer their own circus question?
Well, the best way is on my website, Circology.life. And it's probably in the notes, I'm not sure, but Circology.life. You just put that in Google, it will come up and you'll find the Circus question there. The app, when it's fully released for consumer, will have a free section. So it'll be a freemium app and you will be able to ask the Circus question to yourself. You will get an assessment for yourself. And as you move along the app, obviously there'll be a paying section, there'll be a paywall. But if you want to find out more about my coaching, group coaching, one-to-one coaching, and bespoke, that's the luxury end, which is really focused on 6 to 12 weeks or sessions, then it's all on my website. And social media, if you punch in Andreas MatchCreator, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, and soon to be on Instagram. I'm so bad with tech. I'm not on Instagram yet. Well, I am kind of on Instagram, but not properly yet. And TikTok and these places. And YouTube soon. And I'm launching a podcast. But, you know, that will all be revealed in the Circology.life.
Circology.life. I want to thank you so much, Andreas, the Match Creator, for being a part of this amazing conversation. Those of you who are watching today, please reach out to Andreas on social media. Go to his website, answer your Circus question, be enlightened on how to have a strategy to dating well. And I really appreciate all your pearls of wisdom. Thank you. Thank you so much. And
one last word.
Yes.
They are able to ask me in my inbox. I've got an email address there. If they have a question about their role, fire it to me. I'll answer back, and no commitment. You don't have to pay for it. But, you know, if I get thousands, then I'll be stuck. But, you know, bear with me. That's all I say.
Wonderful. All right, Andreas, thank you again. Hope to have you back on the show with some more updates. And I want to thank you all for watching. Remember, be informed, be empowered, and be transformed. God bless. See you next time.